Okay, so this is only a little section of the book, but I do think it's really important because it can sometimes come up as quite a big question. And it's the differences between how animals grow and how plants grow, because there is a real big difference between them. Now, as you know, all living things are made of one or more cells, and the cells are very small and can only be seen with a light microscope. Plant and animal cells have some features in common, but plant cells have some features that animal cells do not have. And I'm sure you'll remember, right way back from year 7, that plants have cell walls, they have vacuoles, and they have chloroplasts, and those are the things, the organelles, that animal cells don't have. Bacteria consist of one cell, and it is smaller than plants or animal cells and has no nucleus, no mitochondria, and no chloroplasts. Despite having no nucleus, bacterial cells contain DNA in the form of a single circular strand floating in the nucleus. Again, you may be asked to compare a bacteria cell to an animal cell, or a bacteria cell to a plant cell. And you can see on the diagrams above that the differences between them. So, how do organisms grow? Plants and animals start as one cell, a fertilised egg. It is an undifferentiated stem cell. Now this means it's got all the chromosomes in there, it's got all the genes in there to make that new living organism, but the parts of the DNA have not been switched on. So for instance, in a human, your cells that are in your liver have exactly the same DNA as the cells that are in your eye, or your brain, or your skin, or your heart. They've all got the same DNA. However, it's the genes that are switched on in the liver that make them liver cells. It's the genes that are switched on in the heart that make it a heart cell, and so on. Okay, so when they're not switched on, it means they are undifferentiated stem cells, and that's why there's a lot of work being done with stem cells, because they can actually, as soon as scientists work out how to switch the genes on and off, it's going to be a massive revolution. Okay, so if we looked at growth in humans, basically if you think about human growth, when there's 4 main growth stages. You have infancy, where the growth is quite rapid following birth. Then you have childhood, where the growth slows down to a steady rate. Then you have adolescence, where puberty causes rapid growth again. And then you have adulthood, where growth rate falls to 0. But if you look at growth in plants, it is not the same at all. Plants grow and gain height through their lives by means of cell enlargement. The cells basically get larger. Growth can be measured by the increase in length, wet mass or dry mass. However, plants only grow at specific parts called meristems, and you find these at the tips of the roots and the tips of the shoots, stem nodes and buds. The meristem cells contain stem cells throughout their lives, and they are, as I said, they are undifferentiated. They have a very small vacuole, they have very thin walls, they are packed closely together, they're small and do not contain chloroplasts, and they can divide and make new cells that differentiate. If you remember back, in humans for instance, we grow just through mitosis. And it happens all over our body, but in plants it can only happen at these meristem cells. This mitosis can only happen there. It can't happen anywhere else. All the other cells just get long. Now if we're talking about using stem cells, scientists can get stem cells from spare very early embryos created during the IVF treatment. They can get them from the umbilical cord. And embryonic stem cells are still able to differentiate into any type of cell. And medical research is developing ways of using stem cells to treat Parkinson's disease, repair spinal cord injuries, grow tissues or organs, and to treat type 1 diabetes. So you can see there's a lot of work being done for this. But really, the main thing to remember is that in mammals, mitosis happens all over the body. In plants, it only happens at the tips of the shoots and the roots, and the rest of the plant gets bigger because the cells just get bigger.